subject that for sure is absolutely close to my heart, and I suppose where I've got a slight relief is there's already been lovely touch points, and Ali's discussion, I found myself nodding a lot, Ali, at some of your points, and the girl just behind there, he said two things that resonated for sure with me, which is the change of mindset, going internal and unconventional, which is, I suppose, in some ways what maybe I am in terms of the way I choose to run my business. And I really don't apologise for that, and sometimes there's a place and a fit for it, and sometimes there's not. But what I have taken great pleasure in doing today is creating what I think is my story in some ways, but through telling that, it's actually been done by the voice of other people. And just a bit of very, very quick background. My background is corporate. I have lived that life of that traffic alley day in and day out. And as if that wasn't bad enough, it was then getting to a desk where that was day in and day out. And touching on working with values that didn't align with mine became a real challenge. And the older I got, the tougher I found to make peace with that. But I think fundamentally for me, I came up through the ranks in corporates as grassroots, then up into managerial positions and onwards from there. And in my latest employed role, something struck me very deeply actually, and had a very adverse effect on me in terms of actually who am I really working for and what is the result that I am really achieving and for who really. And so either crazily or courageously, I eagerly put my hand up when a scale down came in the business and people were, had the chance to go and take redundancy, and I thought I'll do that, and I will take this on a wing and a prayer and take forth what my belief is from this point forward. And the irony of that is that I decided to set myself a wee challenge, and I thought, this is a great angle, having walked in the shoes and lived that corporate life, and some of that worked out at times for me and sometimes it didn't, but it became a great hunger in me to say, okay, I'm going to step out in this role, but I'm coming back to get you in another role. And that's very much about looking at culture and values and people. And for me, what I'm really passionate about is how organisations really understand people and how organisations really understand change. I think you're right, lip service is paid in terms of we think they know what change is required, but what always mesmerises me is when I'm actually brought in to coach or teams within organisations. My goodness, the amount of times I've come up against those resistors or the disengagement, and what I find is it actually comes down most of the time to really, really simple things. It is a level of humanity and humility that's missed often in the workplace. So Angela, bless her, asked me to come along and give me a 25-minute window to talk about change and some of the learnings I've had through commencing I Not Robot just over 3 years ago. And I absolutely could stand here for 25 minutes and talk about the human dimension of change and what I think the resistors are and why I think it's important to build an internal individual motivation for change. But I thought instead of listening to me going on, and believe you me, if I can stop talking after 25 minutes, that is a change in the making, I tell you. But I thought what I would do is I would actually, I've made something for you, so I thought, I apologise, I'm not a videographer and it's not my thing, but I have made my own video, and I thought what I would do is rather than me talking about what I have learned about what really, what change means to people, I'd let them do the talking. So I just want to play this wee video for you. Let's hope this works. This is why I work with people, not technology. There we go. Okay. I don't know, you must be psychic just when you said, you know, what is it that you're going to do? And I smiled because I thought, yeah, we're on the same path here. But I would just like to say that that video, I didn't go on Google Images and find these people. These people are real, and I made that video this week, and the majority of the people in that video are my family, and there's a couple of really good friends in there. And here's the thing for me when you talk about change. So I went out and I said, you know, I'm doing a thing on Friday. I'm just curious. If I say change, what is that for you? If I say change, you're saying. And what struck me was how difficult that was actually for people to immediately answer. And it needs contemplation some of the time. And what also humbled me, I guess, is that some of those answers, those are the answers of these real people. And it's about how do people gain their context on change. And just to give you a wee insight there, so you've seen some of these people coming up. I would just like to share with you that Rory, at 29, is a chef, and at 29 he already has severe levels of diabetes and arthritis, which has really changed his life. But he rocks up every day into work and he finds a way to create in a kitchen, which is such therapy for him, but he's learned that change really is influence. So it's what happens in your life that will influence how you cope and what your choices are and how you elect to find your vocation, and as he calls it, his North Star. We have Marjie, who's 50, and you know, a mother of 4, and she talks about change being about opportunity, and it's new people and it's new ways, and it's great. And I am an embracer of change. She lost her husband at 48. Poppy, who's 13, was found on a rubbish pile in Thailand, still with her umbilical cords attached, and she has now been adopted by my cousin. And I just find it incredible that at 13 she has the wisdom and the learning to say, you know what, change for me is something good. It's good. It's something that makes a good difference. And Meetup, 29, who's Egyptian, he talks oftentimes about we've got to be careful with change. He has seen political unrest in our country. He's come from one dictatorship to another dictatorship to actually having so much change in a free way that they didn't really know what to do with it. But he will talk passionately about change for me. Marjie is my freedom. So the question is what we do with that, and that is what captures me all of the time. When we talk about change and really think about what is it that we're going to do. My point there is absolutely, you know what, after years in corporate life and some of my own life experiences, high and low, change for me isn't a belief in possibility, which is why my business is called I Know What, which is why many companies don't even give me a second thought, because that's terrifying. It's interested in psychology of reaction, sometimes to that name, for that very fundamental reason of, oh, if we hire her, what's she going to change? And actually I'm really comfortable with that, because that can be a bit of mutilating the bounty, and it's not, it's about understanding your people. So that was a bit of a play out just to hopefully kind of get you guys thinking about what change is for you, and actually what should it mean? Within a work context, so what I've done is I know understand these stress stocks actually, and I did say to Angela that I would touch on, from a human aspect of change, what are some of the inhibitors or the blocks to engagement around change that I've experienced. And all I can do is be honest about my learnings working with organisations in a coaching capacity. And I think for me, absolutely there is resistance to change, and I've found oftentimes it centres in 3 different areas. It will be either a fear of change, so it's actually a fear sector, so triggered in terms of, dear God, no one told me this was coming. I don't really know how I feel about that, so actually I'm polarised and I can't engage with that. Personally, through some of the work that I've done with organisations, that can be turned around with the right communication and the right solicitation of inclusion and actually consultation, and I think that's vastly missing in the workplace. Is change is something that is communicated, dictated, it's done unto you. It's not something that is born out of a collective and a cohesive discussion where we value who we are as human beings. Secondly, once we get beyond fear, what I've found is that people resist, and it's habitual. That also can be relearned and it can be turned around, but dear God, trust me, it's really tricky sometimes, especially when you're working with what my philosophy versus others. But it is that thing that you've spoken about, and I love that you brought up the day of your friends, your friend in Aberdeen, because I'm just curious about if we said to you, You can't go to the gym at 6:45, you've got to go at 5:30. Yeah, exactly. So you're going to disrupt a pattern. And so he's like that, oh no, I can't do that. So I have found that oftentimes. And then the third level of real disengagement is absolutely right, Alex, on the values piece, and like we've spoken about as well. I've found if there's resistance to change, it's a values-based resistance, then that's going to be really, really, really tricky to turn around, and I think that's where we need a fundamental shift. So I just thought we would have just an observation of your stress dots variance. I can just say for the record that if your dot remains black, then either they're not working or you're feeling stressed right now. As they start to gravitate from black down to a sort of brown toning, then you're becoming a bit more relaxed. Brown still signifies unsettled. We then come into green, which is uncalm and relaxed. The red is obviously still a variant of stressed at a level. And then as we come out of those into the greens and into your purples, that means that we've reached a point of being relaxed. And I've tried to replicate stress dot stations around the room today because I'm going to do something that I really am interested in to hear from the room. Just in terms of organisational life, because that's really where we're at. I know I've shared some personal stuff here, but we're looking at organisational context in terms of change and what we can do better, etc. I just want to share a wee story, and Angela, I've shared this with you in our very first meeting actually, and I think it's probably my most profound awakening ever in terms of what then really mapped out, I suppose, my career. But the last organisation that I actually worked with, big corporate who remain nameless, I was put in charge of staff engagement and the dire engagement survey that goes out in organisations, which oftentimes serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever. So I was put in charge of, okay, here's the results this year, Marjie, and you're in charge and we need a real percentage increase from next year. Go knock yourself out and do your thing. So I did, and I was in charge of an EMEA region, so working across lots of different cultures and just different drivers within an overall team. And this company on one day announced 2 changes. And I was flying to Ireland to a site there to meet up with my already established group of champions around this change. And when I got there, it was bedlam, quite frankly, it really was. There was all out anarchy in the rooms there. It was dreadful, and I said, what on earth has happened? However, I had been informed previously that the bonus, which we'd all become very used to over several years working for the employer, was being cut, and cut to the tune of anything up to £1,500 every 6 months, basically. So I thought, that's it, that is what's going on here. People are really anxious about that, and they probably feel what I'm going to do about that, and actually we're making money, so why? And I was astounded, and every time I tell this, I remain astounded, and I said, well, okay, let's talk about this, and I think I know what's going on here. And I said to the group, look, we've just got to look at this. Bonus is bonus, it's not guaranteed income. I said, it's nothing to do with the bonus margin. And I said, well, what on earth could this all be about? And they said, we're taking away our 15 coffee vending machines in the breakout areas. And I thought, my goodness. And what became very, very apparent for me is that this organisation had drastically missed the fact that employees and people fundamentally as human beings who look for that contribution and that purpose but to be valued actually had a meltdown, and the meaning they attached to that change that was communicated with no consultation was by removing the albeit really bad crappy cup of tea that I get out of the vending machine. Actually my worth is here, and in terms of benefits withdrawal, that cup of tea had the biggest impact ever versus someone prepared to lose up to £3,000 in income revenue to feed their families every year. It wasn't about the money, it's the fact that I am not worth a damn cup of tea. And that was profound, actually. When I took that back to senior level, they just didn't get it. And I thought, my word. So when news of redundancies or the option for redundancy came around, bring it on. That's what I'm going to do, because it is about how do you actually fundamentally start to have these conversations in the workplace that change the psychology and the understanding and the due respect and all of that contribution. And when I work with organisations, yeah, you know, that's the angle I go in at, is that fundamental human aspect of what we do and why we do it and the contribution that we make. And in the blog interview that I did with Angela, I did speak about just an inspirational interview I read with Professor Mohammed Yunus lately, and he just asked those two profound questions that struck me when I was reading your article: is what is inside of me that I can contribute, and what role is it that I have to play? So that's my offering to the room today, but what I thought would be really nice actually, just to get a sense of your awareness of your own levels of response to change, whether that be a stress or, you know what, I'm out of here, or actually I just need to know more. I would love the room to take themselves to where they feel they need to be. If you can remember a situation at work where something changed, and that would be something that you remember, so it meant something to you, and if you can remember what your response to that was, or if nothing comes to the fore, just think laterally about workplace change and where do you think the population would sit most of the time with the way we communicate change in a workplace, the way the organisations communicate their purpose to the open world. So actually be curious and you need to know more. Does it stress you out? Is it, I'm out here? Is it, look, I'm quite comfortable with this, change is change, it's fine, I'm quite chilled. The let's do this, that's the neutral ground, and I would just love to get the room into groups, and I'm just interested to see who goes where, and then I would love to just open up a bit of a dialogue and have a wee bit of a conversation about that in terms of why and what's it going to take to get you from where you are to this zone here as an ultimate goal. And I think it's just going to be interesting to see what that means for people. So please carry on. Go out, and some of you might not need to move, but if we could just have some semblance of movement in the room to take yourself to either a previous experience or how do you see it right now. Thank you for that. And finally, Angela, this woman who runs these milk bars every quarter or so and is such an instigator for change and let's do this, I have to ask what this means for you.
Here, there'd be no point in the existence of this business because we're all about making change. But I've probably been in all of those situations as well. But now, of course, we are in positions that we can create change. And being at a startup, you're in a brilliant place where every day you have new opportunities.
Sure.
You know, you have the opportunities to change things, and we're in the driving seat of that. Yeah, not every day is fun, but it's not about the change. It's usually, yes, there's difficulties, there's negative things happen, but it's not about the change. So for me, if I was over there in stress, I'll show you stress, it's because it was the wrong change, not because it was change itself.
Because it was change, absolutely, that's exactly the point.
I'm not afraid of change.
No, but
it's a change.
It's like Callie understanding, you know, tell me why, you know, you're going to do that change.
Yeah, it's great. Change. But there's like the point about staff engagement and everything, you know, working for large companies, you quite often see they do their annual staff surveys.
Yes.
Everybody feeds back and then nothing happens. And it's actually worse than not asking in the first place, because it's like, right, well, we'll take the time to do this, we'll grade you all on it, you know, your managers will get their bonus based on this, but then we're not going to do anything
about it,
which is actually worse than not asking.
It is, because it just insults into your own cores, I guess, in terms, and it comes down to that benefit withdrawal or value. How am I valued, and how is my contribution recognised? So do you know what, that was just really to try and bring your strengths to life on a life floor. And I think what's actually quite nice is, for me, I think what's worked can be that I'll be purple in a second, is actually there is an identification that actually, you know what, I've probably been in every one of those, but it's the subtle nuances and the powerful changes and recognitions that's going to get you really working around your, you know, your gradients in terms of what is causing you some stress. So thanks a million. In finishing, there's just one wee thing that I would just like to say in closing, and this thing's driving me crazy. Bear with me just a second. This is just a wee important point in the short thing. When all else fails. So I just want to leave you with just two thoughts that are important to me. I am rubbish with technology. I worried about coming here and I thought, how can I possibly come into a room of real cool digital tech-driven people with a company and a robot, and I can't even work this laptop. However, I did come across actually a quote
on the approach to this that I thought just really touched me actually, and I thought how ironic. And it's actually this quote from Andrew Ng, I think is the pronunciation, the chief scientist at Beidou, Chinese tech company, and he's saying here, if a typical person can do a mental task with less than 1 second of thought, we can probably automate it using AI either now or in the near future. And I guess my honest response to that is that terrified me, that triggered my fear centre. My interpretation and translation of that is probably slightly not what was intended. But my finishing line to the room as I'm a robot is, dear God, please never let us get to a stage where we complete any mental task without 1 second of thought. And the final piece of inspiration that I actually had this week is also watched a TED Talk with the woman who is the headmistress of Strawberry Mansions School in some of the poverty-stricken areas of, I'm sure it's Philadelphia. And she has turned what is a crime-ridden, poverty-ridden school around in terms of the results and the engagement in education that these young people are achieving. And her whole strapline is, if you're going to lead, lead. And then she finishes off her talk with saying, so what, now what? And that is my call to action to you in terms of all being in a room, because something brought us all here with this topic, so by the grace of God, let us go forth and not be a bystander or a consumer. Thank you.